So it looks like Prageru has some kind of cartoon show this episode. They're wanting to teach uh, middle schoolers and high schoolers how BLM is bad and how they affected the cops and made them feel sad.
Welcome to Los Angeles, the second most populous city in the USA and the heart of sunny Southern California. Its residents, known as Angelinos, enjoy the city's beaches, hiking trails, museums, theme parks, sports venues, and acclaimed universities. In 1848, gold was discovered in California, and thousands of people moved west across the United States to try to strike it rich. At the time, the remote village of Los Angeles was just a rugged frontier town with very few people. But, like the rest of the state, it quickly expanded to accommodate the wave of newcomers. Over the last 150 years, Los Angeles, or LA for short, has been a beacon of growth, offering opportunity for millions of residents. But this rapid expansion of people and culture has also come with some growing pains. And when tensions turn to violence, Angelinos must rely on a strained police force for protection.
Well, it took them 1 minute and 3 seconds to actually get into what their video is about.
This is Mateo, the 13-year-old son of Mexican immigrants living in Los Angeles. Mateo's parents, Juan and Lucy, moved here just a few years before he was born. They operate a small convenience store that serves a largely Hispanic neighborhood. Mateo attends the local public school where his favorite subjects are math and PE. After school, he helps at his parents' store restocking shelves and sweeping the floors. On Sundays, he attends Mass with his family at the nearby Catholic church.
Oh, yeah, PragerU has to put in that he goes to Mass because that's what everybody does. They're Catholic, right?
In his free time, Mateo enjoys playing baseball, hanging out with his friends, and playing video games. Before immigrating to Los Angeles, Juan and Lucy run a small general store in Mexico. They worked hard to make their business successful, but cartel members began harassing Juan, demanding money for protection. The threats got so bad that Juan and Lucy decided to embark on the long and expensive process of applying for a U.S. green card. When their application was finally accepted,
Oh, wow. So, PragerU is okay with immigration? Most right-wingers hate immigration, legal or illegal. This is quite funny.
they moved to Los Angeles and found a large, welcoming community of fellow Latinos. After even more hard work, they were able to open a new grocery store. Soon, Mateo was born, followed by his two sisters, and the family was very thankful for their life in LA. Then, in May 2020,
Oh no! Black Lives Matter came into town and everything got ruined.
George Floyd, a black man who resisted arrest and was held under the knee of a police officer, died while in custody.
Well, he was murdered while being restrained. He didn't die while in custody. It wasn't like he just died of some natural causes. He was murdered by cops, and they were convicted of his murder.
Although this happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, fiery protests and riots erupted in cities all around the United States. Activists claimed that the police were targeting the black community and purposefully killing unarmed black men.
And yeah, they were, and they still are.
As the false claims of racial targeting spread, so did the anger and violence. Throughout the summer, Mateo and his family were shocked and worried as they watched on the news where neighborhoods around LA were being burned and looted. Politicians, activists, celebrities, and even major corporations began to demand reform or complete abolition of the police force.
Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong with reform of the police force when you can see, you can watch article after video, read article after video about cops abusing people, killing people, committing various crimes, kidnapping kids, murdering kids, And yeah, we need a reform in how the police operate.
Mateo wondered, who would keep his neighborhood safe if there were less police? And what about his family's store? After all,
It's not cops that are keeping people safe. This is funny. I love this police propaganda video because it's a fictional character that they created to be sad about cops. When cops don't protect you, they come after a crime, or they're the ones also committing crimes. Again, you got cops murdering people, you got cops kidnapping people, you got cops falsifying documents so that they can have their informants sell drugs and stuff. So it's like, who is actually keeping the community safe? Because it's definitely not the cops.
he had just watched protesters smash store windows, steal all the merchandise, and even set the buildings on fire. He also saw videos of angry protesters blocking traffic on freeways, threatening police, and intimidating restaurant patrons. How would fewer cops be able to stop this type of behavior?
Well, this kind of response wouldn't happen if, the system wasn't racist and targeting black people, and if cops stopped, killing innocent unarmed people, this kind of stuff wouldn't happen. So, supposedly George Floyd uh, tried to use some counterfeit money that he didn't know was counterfeit, and the cops killed him over that. Like, how is that, justified for, to kill somebody because they tried to use counterfeit money? What about like Tyree Nichols and those cops killing him just for the fun of it? So like, come on. Cops are targeting black people, and it's been happening ever since the creation of cops when they came from being slave patrollers.
The only cop that Mateo knows personally is his middle school's resource officer, Officer Suarez. Tall and smiling,
Oh, don't get me started on resource officers. They're just as bad. The uh, you know, uh, child to prison pipeline. I mean, look at Pennsylvania. There was a there was cops and judges and lawyers and stuff that was taking bribes to send kids to juvie so that they can get, some kickbacks and stuff. Resource officers are a part of that. I've watched many videos of school resource officers beating down black students just for being kids, burping in class, being slightly disruptive, talking back, having an extra milk carton or something, and you have these cops beating kids, and right wingers are supposed to care about kids. It's a total lie.
Officer Suarez has a high five, a handshake, or a fist bump for each student as he walks down the hallway. Mateo quickly discovered that Officer Suarez is, like him, a fan of LA's professional baseball team, the Dodgers. When Mateo revealed that he enjoys playing baseball too, the resource officer remarked that someday he'd hope to see him on deck to bat with the Blue Crew at Dodger Stadium, which made him smile. Officer Suarez takes time to be friendly, but also has an important job to do. Mateo has observed him doing daily book bag checks and escorting strangers off of school property. Last year, when tempers flared and punches were thrown in the cafeteria, Officer Suarez sprang into action and quickly diffused the situation. Mateo understands that
And this kind of situation, the white kid would be let off with no charges, while the POC would be sent to juvie for being violent. I mean, I've had various experience with racist uh, uh, school officers. I was sent to juvie for writing poems and got in charge of conspiracy to commit murder and civil rights intimidation. uh, over poems. Uh, Another person had done similar. It was a white person, and nothing happened to them because it was a white lady.
Resource officer is there to keep the students safe so that they can focus on their schoolwork without fear. He views Officer Suarez as a guide, a mentor, and a protector, not how he has seen police characterized in the news as mean-spirited bullies.
So it's basically, hey, let's deny uh, what the cops do on the news and the murders that they commit or the violent crimes that they commit. Like, you know, look, during uh 2020, people were protesting against cop brutality, and what did they do? Brutalize people? Look at Boston. There was an elderly man, a white elderly man, who was giving cops a helmet because one of them dropped one, and what do? Push him down, and he suffered brain injury from that, was laying there bleeding from the ears, and the cops did nothing. Uh, those cops who pushed him down got punished, and what did the other cops do? Uh, they protested uh, their duties until those cops got put back onto the task force. It is evil what these cops do. They brutalize people and then uh, force the city to keep them on the force when they get punished.
Mateo has heard his parents talking about the news and he agrees with them. They believe that improving police tactics would be beneficial, but they don't want to eliminate the police in their schools or in their communities. In the past, Juan and Lucy.
Okay, nobody's talking about eliminating every single police. The the reform that BLM is looking for is to defund money from the cops because they have an excess amount of money, and then invest that into the community, education, healthcare, mental health services, and the such, so that that money can be better used for the community. And there's various tasks that are taken away from the cops so that they can actually go after like hardcore criminals and stuff instead of being there for traffic violations or wellness checks and such.
Lucy would encounter occasional shoplifters in their store, but they were usually kids sneaking candy. Lately, however, adults have begun brazenly walking out with armfuls of goods, disappearing before police even have time to arrive. With crime erupting everywhere, Mateo wondered if Officer Suarez could help him understand what was going on in his neighborhood.
Okay, how does that have to do with Black Lives Matter, people shoplifting? That's hilarious.
One day after school, Mateo managed to catch the resource officer and get all of his thoughts out. He told Officer Suarez about what he had seen on the news and what had happened in his family store. His parents were worried that the crimes would continue, and Mateo wanted to know what he could do to help. When Officer Suarez asked Mateo how he felt about what he had seen on TV, Mateo admitted that he felt sorry for Mr. Floyd's family, but he couldn't understand why rioters seemed to think that destroying other people's property helped the family feel better. He knew that his parents had come to Los Angeles to escape the threat of violence and destruction in Mexico, but now the criminals in LA were almost as bad as the cartels had been. Officer Suarez asked Mateo what he thought the purpose of the police truly was. Mateo responded that he felt it was to protect others, like resource officers protect the students at school.
But resource officers don't protect students at school. Look at Uvalde. Where was the resource officer there?
To his surprise, Officer Suarez revealed that he also served the community in big and small ways that Mateo had never even realized, including making time for helpful chats with concerned kids just like him. Officer Suarez then revealed something even more surprising. To protect and serve was not only the police's job, but Mateo's as well. First, he needed to protect himself.
What's also funny is that the Supreme Court has ruled that it's not the duty of an officer to protect somebody if they see them in trouble. A cop can watch you be stabbed to death and do nothing about it. And it's completely within their rights.
By doing the things he knew he should, like doing his best on schoolwork and keeping out of trouble. Next, he needed to serve his community by helping his neighbors. Officer Suarez even revealed that there are programs in Los Angeles and all around America, like Neighborhood Watch, which help neighbors look out for one another and connect citizens with their local police departments.
No, the Neighborhood Watch just allows paranoid, racist people to call the cops or harass people that they don't like. The Neighborhood Watch does not protect people.
Mateo's mind began to spin. He could protect and serve his community. During the riots, he and his father had helped board up windows. In fact, his father knew every shop owner on the street where their store was located. Maybe the adults could be block captains with the Neighborhood Watch. But was there even more he could do as a kid? The easiest thing he could do would be to say thank you to the police officers that worked in his neighborhood, and he started right then and there with Officer Suarez.
Yeah, the best thing you can do to help your community is to suck off the cops.
Now, when Mateo kneels during Mass beside his sisters and parents, he prays for wisdom to know how to protect himself and serve his neighborhood. He smiles as he thinks about the new Blue Crew that he's chosen to support, and how good cops like Officer Suarez can teach other kids like him how to truly make a difference.
Wow, that was total trash, 100%.